The government of Guyana has a constitutional mandate to defend national independence, preserve the country's sovereignty and integrity, guarantee normal functioning of institutions, and security of citizens against any armed aggression. It is for this reason that there must be a stronger sense of national consciousness among citizens. Biases, political and otherwise, must be tossed aside, and a formidable united front must be established in the interest of the country. Guyana has a border with Venezuela that is over 800 kilometers long. This is a border whose boundaries are defined and settled as per the 1899 Arbitral Award. However, for over a century, generations of Guyanese have had to deal with the controversy over the said border, and even with the best efforts at diplomacy, including trade deals, which offered temporary respite, the issue continued to rear its head, terrorizing the nation and hampering economic development.
Guyana's position has always been that the basis of the controversy was a legal question which should be resolved peacefully and conclusively through a legal process. Guyana remains confident in the correctness of its case. Guyana looks forward to the reaffirmation of the validity of the 1899 Arbitral Award before the International Court of Justice.
Following the announcement of the United Nations referral of the matter to the International Court of Justice to bring this matter to a permanent conclusion, the anticipated intensified aggression has seen the government swinging into action, heightening security across the country, but more particularly in the regions that are home to what the President termed frontline communities. As a result of the unstable situation in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, as well as the ongoing border controversy with Guyana, the President, who chairs the Defense Board, has taken the lead in conducting outreaches to the frontline communities to interact with residents and assure them of the government's commitment to their safety. He has also instructed the Guyana Defense Force to brief the Parliamentary Committee on Security, as well as civil society, on the steps that are being taken to secure the country.
I expect that there will be full participation both by members of the government side and the opposition side. If necessary, we will take this to civil society, and I've already briefed the Chief of Staff of the GDF that civil society must be aware of what is taking place. So we are operating at different levels. We are operating at the local level, at the villages, in the frontline villages themselves. I'm personally going there. That's one of the reasons why I did not go to Haiti, because of the domestic situation. We're concerned about the regionals, the two regions, what I call the frontline regions.
Cabinet has adopted a concept note on frontline village policy, which is aimed at greater inclusion of all communities on our national borders.
Government is deeply concerned, and government is continuing to deliver services to the communities, health services, communications, security services. There have been complaints about pensions. Everything we're looking at, it's a total responsibility. It is not being left to one ministry. There's an interministerial response to the issues of isolation. As you know, these are remote areas, not neglected areas, but remote areas because of the problems of communication. So what I would say to Guyanese is that the government is engaged fully all along our borders at all three levels. We are delivering services, and the two major security forces, the defense forces and the police force itself, are involved in patrols and assuring the population that any crime committed against them is going to be investigated and punished.
Speaking to the community of Kaikan in Region 7, the President said that frontier communities are guardians of Guyana's territorial integrity and national security.
For 52 years we've been talking. But believe me, it was only last month, January 2018, that the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres wrote me to say this controversy is going to be referred to the International Commission of Justice, the International World Court, the World Court. Thank God. So Venezuela is claiming that the boundary is wrong. The boundary should really be the Essequibo. But that's not true. If you go to Mount Roraima, you see the marker. If you go in the Barima Waini, you see marker. If you go along the Kuyuni Mazruni, you see the markers. The markers were put down there 110 years ago. So the Venezuelans are wrong and Guyanese are right, and we're going to the court.
Currently, there is strong military presence in villages such as Kaikan and Whitewater, providing security to those and other surrounding villages on a 24-hour basis.
The GDF basically is playing the role of monitoring the border, giving support to the police in getting the work done at the end of the day. Also, they will at the monthly RIC meetings, they will update myself and the others of the committee on the status of the security at the borderline, and where collectively the region and these agencies can work together to ensure that the sovereignty of our country and more so the security of our communities are looked after.
This move has allowed Guyanese to rest easier, particularly residents who have been terrorized by the notorious Venezuelan criminal gang called Sindicatos.
That what we observing is that we are on a threat from these people truly indeed, that we need a security in our village or our nearby communities to the closing border to Venezuela. So when you say some things about tighten up security, I feel happy because I know our residents that live in Whitewater here would be more safety. When you speak about safety, truly indeed we need a strong security in this village Whitewater. And even so, Yarikita, these close by entering areas where these people have been entering into the villages so easily.
The government recognizes the military's role in protecting stable international environment and how it can create stable and secure conditions in which economic growth can flourish. With the frontline village policy, along with continued diplomacy and the imminent final ruling from the World Court, it is hoped that the century-old impediment will finally be a thing of the past. In foreign policy, defense cooperation is defined as an ideal tool to advance national foreign policy objectives by building bridges of friendship, preventing conflicts, building mutual trust and capacities on a global basis. The process signals the political commitment to develop cooperative relationship, dispel trust and misperception on issues of common military interests. This definition is exemplified by the Defense Force cooperation that is shared between Guyana and some of its bilateral partners such as China, the United States, and more so Brazil. Brazil and Guyana share a 50-year-old relationship that is characterized by mutual respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty. The strong military-to-military cooperation between the two countries is a demonstration of this.
Guyana is proud to have a neighbor such as Brazil, which is also a friend.
Guyana é muito orgulhoso de ter amigo como o Brasil, que também é amigo.
The friendship between Guyana and Brazil
Os laços entre Guyana e Brasil
is founded on the international principles of mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty.
se funda sobre respeito mútuo de integridade e segurança pessoal.
Mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs.
Não interferência nas atividades internas dos dois países.
Cooperation for mutual benefit.
Cooperação para benefício mútuo.
Respect for treaties.
Respeito aos tratados.
The inviolability of borders.
Inviabilidade das fronteiras.
Respect for international law.
Respeito às leis internacionais.
And the maintenance of international peace and security.
A few weeks ago, during the visit of Brazil's defense minister, the two countries have agreed to review a joint communique that was first introduced in September 2012. This is intended to deepen cooperation, which will significantly add to an already impressive cooperation program, which has seen residents in the hinterland benefiting from wells drilled by Brazilian military and training and capacity building for GDF officers.
Over the years, we've been having training done by the British, by the Americans, the Brazilians, and the Chinese to build our human capacity.
Perhaps more important than the cooperation program is the fact that Brazil has been and remains a strong ally and supporter of Guyana in the ongoing border controversy with Venezuela.
I would like once again to reaffirm the commitment of the Brazilian government to the territorial integrity of Guyana. Brazil supports the efforts being made by the Secretary General of the United Nations and reaffirms that the International Court of Justice is the natural way for the settlement of disputes. As I said before, every year I said the same, but I want to reassure this. Guyana can also be sure that regional stability will not be shaken by extemporaneous demands. One of the fundamentals of our foreign policy is the respect of international agreements, and Brazil will always defend the Pacific solution of controversies.
In a tangible demonstration of this commitment, Guyana and Brazil in November last year undertook a project to remark the borders that they share. This exercise solidified the relationship between the two countries and a demonstration of mutual respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty.
Guyana is a continental state with Caribbean characteristics.
Goiânia é um estado continental com características do Caribe.
The preservation of South America as a zone of peace
Preservação da América do Sul como zona de paz.
is essential to Guyana's existence.
A existência da Guiana.
Brazil has remained resolute in its commitment to peace on this continent.
O Brasil tem se empenhado firme na busca de paz nesse continente.
Guyana therefore records its appreciation for Brazil's consistent and unwavering support
Eu também gostaria de recordar nosso compromisso com o suporte do Brasil
over the past 50 years
durante os últimos 50 anos.
and its support for the peaceful settlement of the territorial controversy,
E suporte para chegar a uma conclusão pacífica sobre a controvérsia.
which has arisen out of the claim by the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela
E subir através de reivindicações pela Venezuela.
that the award of the tribunal which defined and demarcated the border with Guyana in 1899
E o acordo que foi dado em 1899
was null and void.
Similar cooperation exists between Guyana and the People's Republic of China. In fact, there is an existing cooperation agreement between the GDF and the Chinese military, the People's Liberation Army. In April last year, the GDF received from the PLA a donation of 31 pieces of equipment, including patrol boats, bulldozers, excavators, water tank, fuel tanks, tipper trucks, off-road ambulances, and several other vehicles.
National defense is inseparable from national development. Public infrastructure enables and ensures public security by guaranteeing safety for our citizens, by providing assurance to investors and visitors, and by contributing to an enabling environment for investment.
This donation will also ensure that the GDF's mandate to support the infrastructural development of the country is boosted, enabling the force to not only contribute to national development, but also to execute its mandate of protecting the territory and preventing transnational crime.
For many years, PLA has been providing military aid and training to GDF, which is beneficial to the development of the GDF and the friendship between the two sides. The handover military equipment this time is once again a significant testimonial of the friendly and practical cooperation between PLA and the GDF.
Through the United States Southern Command, SOUTHCOM, assigned officers functioned as military consultants to the Guyana Defense Force at the Chief of Staff and Force levels. Last year, Guyana became the first Caribbean country to host the Caribbean Nations Security Conference, which is sponsored by SOUTHCOM, and it is aimed at examining threats to Caribbean stability and improving regional security and cooperation.
We are committed to defending our motherland. Guyana's constitution stipulates that the state's defense and security policy shall be to defend national independence, preserve the country's sovereignty and integrity, and guarantee the normal functioning of institutions and the security of citizens against any armed aggression. Our citizens' safety is the state's paramount objective.
President has put forward a 10-point village improvement plan that aims at ensuring access to public services in the areas of citizenship, registration and immigration, education, human safety, information communication technology, national defense, public health, public infrastructure, social cohesion, and social protection. This process has already started in Baramita with the newly constructed building complex, which includes nursery and primary school buildings, teachers' quarters, medical center, and nurse quarters. These facilities will now serve as a hub for residents to access basic social services to which they are entitled.
I want to thank you, Your Excellency, for coming to this community and to recommit your solidarity in ensuring that the lives of all Guyanese, and in specific, the people of Baramita, is secured. I know that just a few days ago, you were in the community of Whitewater, in which you made a similar commitment to the people who would have been gathered there. And we at the level of the Regional Democratic Council reiterate our firm commitment to working with the central government in ensuring and securing the vision of a good life for all Guyanese, and one of that being security of all our people.
The President is urging all citizens, not just those in frontline villages, to be more vigilant and to guard against any force that may threaten territorial integrity. He also issued a call to Guyanese to work closer with the security forces to ensure that any possible threat to law and order is intercepted.
All of us stood up when the national anthem was played. All of us recognized the national flag. All of us as citizens of Guyana. All of us believe that Guyana should be allowed to live in peace, that Venezuela should live in peace, that Brazil should live in peace, Suriname should live in peace. We don't want to invade anybody else, and we don't want anybody to invade us. We want to develop our country so that our children could inherit this land that we live on.
Around the world, there are many independent countries where people are not yet free to pursue economic, social, and cultural development. Simply put, even with the end of colonialization, some countries are yet to be free. Their sovereignty is threatened and their patrimony is under siege simply because of unjust claims to their territories. Thankfully, Guyana is not one of them. At no time in the history of independent Guyana is the execution of that mandate more important than it is today. You see, today it's a question of sovereignty and territorial integrity. It's about guarding against external forces from hijacking the birthright of every single Guyanese.